Hey everybody, Jane here, and I'm with you today to give you my February TBR. I have quite a few books on this TBR. I'm really excited about it. However, I'm also a little nervous because I only finished reading 4 books in January. My goal for the year is 100 books, so I'm going to really have to step it up if I'm going to meet that Goodreads goal. Let's start with the 3 books that I actually started in January and just haven't finished yet. The first is It by Stephen King. Most of you probably know what the plot of this is, but just in case you don't, it's about a group of friends who are called back to their hometown to fight a monster that they fought when they were children. I'm about halfway through the audiobook, and so far I'm really enjoying it. The next book I started but did not finish is Arsenic and Old Books. Now, as you can see, I am about halfway through, a little less than halfway through this. And this is the only book on this TBR that I own. I bought it at a library sale. As you can kind of see on the back, the barcode was scratched off. So bought it for like 25 cents at the library. And yeah, you can even see the sticker. So this book is about an archivist, I believe is what he's called. He preserves old documents, and a very prominent family brings some journals that they found that could affect their standing in the community and have some impact on the political aspirations of certain members of the family. They bring those volumes to this archivist, and then crazy things start to happen. His office gets broken into, and the volumes are removed. One of the people who showed interest in the volumes was killed, and it's just been kind of a wild ride. So far, it's okay. If I had to guess, I would say this is a book that's going to end up a 3 out of 5. I came close to DNFing it, but I was like, okay, I'll do a little further, and it did drag me back in. But I think it would have to do some amazing things to be a new favorite. But it's not bad. It's a fine little read. The next book I started but didn't finish, and it's a graphic, an omnibus of The Boys, Volume 1. If you've seen the TV show, which is on Prime, you kind of have an idea of what this is about. This is about a group of people, the boys, who are kind of trying to police the superhero community because superheroes, there's some bad apples in it. I am really close to finished with this one. That's where I'm at right now. I thought I was going to finish this one today, but I just ran out of time and decided that I didn't want to rush through it. Also, I had thought I'd picked up the second volume from the library, but I didn't. So I have the third and the fourth, so I need to get the second one. So the second one might also end up being a read in February. We'll see. So far, I probably will end up giving this a 4 if nothing changes. I do enjoy many aspects of this, but I also find it problematic. However, I really enjoy the show, which may be influencing how I see the book. Alright, so on to the stuff I haven't started yet. And I'll be honest, a lot of these are seconds in a series that I've already started. So I have very high hopes for these books. The first of those is The Silent Voice, or A Silent Voice, and Volume 2. And I had read Volume 1. This is a little manga. I don't love that it's black and white. You'll notice that's one of the things I complain about a lot, is I have a hard time reading mangas or graphic novels that are black and white. But this is, if I remember, because it has been since 2019, I do believe that I read the first book. This is about this boy used to pick on this girl because she's deaf or hearing impaired, and then later they start to become friends. So I really liked the first one. I expect to like the second one, and if we're adding short little reads, this is probably just a couple hours, so very excited about that one. The next sequel is A Heart So Fierce and Broken. I read A Curse So Dark and Lonely, I believe it was 2019, and it was one of my favorite books that year. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I really loved it. So this is a retelling of the Beauty and the Beast story, except in a fantasy, like a more of a fantasy world. So our main character is a girl who has cerebral palsy, so I loved the rep. I think it was cerebral palsy. She had something that made limited her movements a little bit. And she is dragged into this world to marry the prince, who is a beast, and he's trying to break a spell, the spell where he turns into a beast. I loved the first book, so I'm cautiously optimistic about this one. I am a little worried because my really good friend who also loved the first book ended up DNFing this. And I asked her why, and she said that, she was really happy with the first one and felt it was fine and didn't think it needed the second book, and so she just lost interest. It has been a year or more since I read the first book, so I wish I had the opportunity to go back and reread it, but I just don't have as much reading time in my life as I did before. So I've decided to just, with these sequels, go ahead, push forward, and we'll see if I can still remember what happened, maybe with a little bit of a, memory jog, since they are sequels. All right, the next sequel, and this is the one on my TBR, if I'm being honest, that I am most excited about, is Hollowpox. This is the third in the Morrigan Crow series. The Morrigan Crow is about a child who is cursed, and kind of to overcome her curse, she has to become part of the Wondrous Society. And I don't know the specifics of what's happening in book 3, but I've heard it's amazing. I've heard really great things. I liked book 1. I loved book 2. So I'm hoping I equally love book 3. Because the first book was a little bit rough for me. I wasn't sure I was going to finish it. And then when I did finish it, I wasn't sure I was going to finish the series. I did give it a 4 out of 5. I didn't hate it. Fantasy is one of those genres that I enjoy when they really pull me in, but I sometimes struggle with. So, hoping that this really engages me. I have no reason to think it won't, and I loved, like I said, the last one, and I'm looking forward to this the most. Next on my list is Thunderhead. I just finished Scythe in January, and so I decided to pick up Thunderhead since Scythe was still kind of fresh in my mind. Also, my friend, the same one who DNF'd the second, The Heart So Fierce and Broken, she also read Scythe with me, more or less. She finished a lot sooner than I did. And then she already has finished Thunderhead. She liked it. She said that for her, it was not quite as good as the first one, but still interesting. I enjoyed the first book, but I definitely didn't feel like after closing it, I needed a sequel. It felt very complete. I was happy with how it ended. So I'm actually a little, feeling a little cautious going into this and, kind of having lower expectations because I didn't really think the first book needed a sequel. It was pretty great how it was. So I hope this wows me. I did like the world. I did like the characters. Oh, in case you have not read this series, this is about, the first book was about 2 teenagers who are apprenticed to Scythe. In this world, nobody dies natural deaths, so the Scythes are in charge of deciding who lives and who dies. And I have no idea where things are going to go in this book, but I'm excited to find out, sort of. The next book on my list is another one that I have some reservations about, and that is Mallory. This is the sequel to Bird Box. And I'm not really sure what's going to be happening in this one. In book 1, the plot is basically there are monsters, and if you look at them, they make you crazy. And in the first book, the main character, Mallory, is trying to get her children to a safe place without looking at the monsters. I don't know what is going to happen in this book. I've heard some things that make me think that I'm not going to love it, because I was hoping it would go one way. But from kind of what I've heard, it's less about where things ended up at the end of the last book and more of, oh, here's new stuff happening. So we'll see. I want to love it because I really did enjoy Bird Box. I don't remember if I gave it a 4. I think I probably gave it a 4. I really had a good time with it. I enjoyed it. But because of some of the stuff I've heard, I'm a little leery about this. All right. And the other books on my TBR are actually graphic novels. They're ones I did want to read that have been on my TBR, but I'm thinking about reading them now to get kind of caught up on my numbers so that I don't keep slipping behind. So, there's actually 4 of them. If I said 3, I apologize. 2 of them are very similar. So, I have Clue, the graphic novel, and Clue Candlestick. So, I got these actually a couple months ago from the library, and I just haven't gotten to them yet. I assume they are related to the game Clue. One of my daughters is obsessed with the game Clue, and we watched the movie Clue, and it just kind of got me back into my passion for the game and the show and just mysteries in general. So I saw that our library had those 2 graphic novels when I was looking up the movie Clue that I was getting for my daughter, and I thought, I have to at least give those a try. The next one, also a graphic novel inspired by things we're reading or participating in as a family, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And it's High School is Hell. I don't know which, it's Volume 1. Volume 1, High School is Hell. So we are currently rewatching, for the adults it's a rewatch, for my kids it's the first time, the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. So we are currently about halfway through season 2 in the shows, and my daughters are really loving it, and I wanted to get some graphic novels that I thought they might enjoy and that I would enjoy since we're already watching Buffy. I did also get a younger chapter book that is Buffy related that I may read, or I may just let my daughter enjoy it. I haven't quite decided because I was thinking, looking at it, it was closer to a graphic novel initially. But this one is a graphic novel. This is more like mature teenager type age, I think. But the other book I had, which I can show you, that I also thought was going to be a graphic novel, is a little bit on the younger side. So I may or may not end up reading this one as well. But I definitely do want to get to this. And the last book on my TBR, and I'm excited. Another YouTuber was reading it and it sounded amazing. So I'm hoping I love it because it's a time in history that horrifies me but also fascinates me, or it's about that time. And that is The Complete Mouse. My understanding is this is a story that takes place during the Holocaust, but it is cats and mice who are the Nazis and the Jews, is my understanding, more or less, or it's some kind of retelling of the Holocaust with mice and cats. So I really hope I enjoy it. It's a fairly big one, and I will say this is another one that's black and white. And I do sometimes struggle with black and white graphic novels, as I mentioned earlier, so I hope I can get past the lack of color and lack of stimulation to my eyes and really just enjoy it for the story that it tells. So that is my TBR for the month of February. What are you reading in February? Have you read any of the books that are on my TBR? Did you like them? Did you not? Are any of the books I'm reading on your future TBR, even if you're not reading them in February? All right, guys, this is Jane. My social media is below. Also below are links to my books. I am a writer, so I write mostly romance, but you can find my books almost anywhere books are sold. Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Audible, Amazon. They come, some are electronic, some are audiobook, some are paperback. There are lots of ways to read my books. So please check me out. Your support of my books helps me to continue to grow this channel. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next time. Have a great reading month. Bye.